All right, we will go ahead and get started. So thank you all for joining us for today's presentation, the top 5 ways to eradicate downtime. So just a couple of quick announcements before we dive in. One is that you are going to receive a copy of this presentation. If you have the handouts section available, you can also grab it in the handouts now. So there is a PDF version there, but you'll also receive a copy of the slides to the email address that you provided when you registered, and you'll also receive a recording of this video as we are recording today, so you'll receive the replay as well. Second is that there's a question tool in GoToWebinar. So please be sure to use that question tool throughout the presentation. Ask lots of relevant and on-topic questions. We are going to be doing a prize giveaway during the Q&A at the end here. So in order to be eligible for that, all you need to do is ask lots of relevant and on-topic questions. So please be sure to participate. We love to make this interactive, so hope to hear from you there. All right, let's take a look at the agenda now. So first we're going to discuss some of the key trends in disaster recovery. And then we're going to take a look at the top 5 ways to eradicate downtime. We will talk about the infrascale difference as well. So just a bit about infrascale, who we are, and what differentiates us from some of the others out there. And then I also have a note here on this screen just so that you are aware again. You are going to be receiving a recording here, and then you do have the question tool available so that throughout the presentation you can ask questions. All right, I would like to quickly start off though hearing from you. So I'm going to launch a quick poll here and give everyone a moment to answer. Simply to hear a little bit from you. So you should see that popping up on your screen momentarily. And this really helps cater the presentation to the audience. So it's just great for me to hear from you, be able to give relevant examples throughout the presentation. So I'll leave this up for a moment so that everyone can answer. So far we have about 50% of you who have voted. Does look like we have a pretty widespread audience as well. 70% have voted so far. So let's see if we can get to 80% voting here. Okay, almost to 80%. We do have a pretty widespread audience today, which is wonderful to see. Okay, and it looks like just about everyone has voted so far. Thank you all for your participation. Let me go ahead and close this poll down so that we can jump back in. Okay, great. So again, thank you all for your participation with that. Much appreciated. Now we can go ahead and dive into the presentation. And first what I want to do is introduce a few of the current problems with disaster recovery methods and just talk about some of the current trends that are really propelling the growth of DRAS adoption. And just to be clear, when we refer to DRAS here at Infrascale, disaster recovery as a service, we are referring to the ability to fail over your entire business environment, not just data and files, to a secondary location. And so DRAS is going to let you leverage a backup appliance to really quickly reboot and virtualize any of the servers that have gone down and really get your customers back up and running quickly in the event of any disaster or any outage. So let's go ahead and look at some of these trends. What we've found is that on-demand failover is really outside the reach of most businesses, and that's leaving them ill-equipped to respond to outages. So let's take a look at why. So here, what we're taking a look at is the reality of downtime. So every customer of yours will experience some type of downtime. And that's what we're seeing on this slide here. It tells two different stories, but both very relevant. So on the left, you see just how pervasive downtime really is. 91% of data center managers surveyed experienced some downtime in the last 2 years, and 47% experienced an outage this year. So then on the right, you see the top causes of downtime. And some of these are going to sound familiar, right? Hardware failure, human error. Those two together account for 3/4 of all downtime. Meanwhile, natural disasters are just 5% of the total. But still, any talk about disaster recovery needs to really be able to take care of both those micro and macro disasters, the tornadoes, the floods, as well as data loss due to human error or hardware software failure. So what we've found, there's not a full understanding of the risk of disruption. And we've been presented with some barriers to adoption. So let's take a look at those. But before I move on to the next slide, I just want to make you all aware that the research for these slides here is available in a report that's in the handout section. So if you want more details on any of these stats, just go to the handout section and you'll see the 2015 DRAS Attitudes and Adoption Report, and you can grab it there. If for any reason you don't have access to that handout section or you don't see it available on your screen, then you can just use the question tool, type something in there, let me know. Please email me a copy of the report. You'll also have my email address, which I'll show on a slide towards the end of the presentation, so you can email me directly if you want further detail. Okay, so what we're looking at here are some of the barriers, right? So why hasn't everyone adopted a DRAS solution if downtime is so pervasive and if it's so damaging to business? Well, what's interesting is DRAS isn't really well understood yet. So these are some of the misperceived, actually, barriers to adoption. So this survey was 350 companies, ranging in size from 100 to 5,000 employees. And most of these businesses said that they couldn't fail over to a second location. So what we found, there's a major mismatch between the importance of data protection and then the level of preparation that's actually put in place. So in this survey, in fact, only 10% of companies said that they could fail over within 15 minutes. Now, the number one reason holding us back from investing in failover is the perceived cost of disaster recovery solutions. So it's just simply too expensive. And then after that, having insufficient IT resources and solution complexity are the next sort of highest barriers to adoption. And in addition to barriers of adoption, traditional DR invariably is going to mean trade-offs. So on one end of the spectrum there, you can utilize tape. Back in the day, this is the primary way that we were protecting data, but it was unreliable then, and it still is now. So it might be cheap. You see it's on the low end of the cost scale, but it takes days to recover. So it has the longest RTO, or recovery time objective. And then you have cloud backup, a much faster recovery time, but also increased cost. And then appliance backup, something that really combines the benefits of some of those previous methods. It's faster. You do end up with something that's reasonably reliable, affordable, and that's what a lot of people are using today. And then other DR solutions along the whole continuum, cold site, warm site, hot site DR. You still have to make that trade-off between speed and cost anywhere along the scale. On the far right, you have hot site disaster recovery. So Your primary and secondary backup systems are going to run simultaneously, and the data is mirrored in real time. So both systems contain identical information, but this is really expensive. It does have the fastest RTO, but you're paying so much for it. So in the upper left here, now what you see is sort of DRaaS nirvana. So this is disaster recovery as a service. This is where what you really want. This is where you want to be. Affordable, on-demand failover. It's the best data protection paradigm that you can pursue, has the fewest trade-offs. Not only do you have backup, but you have failover on the appliance or in the cloud, and you can recover to a secondary site in less than 15 minutes. But it can only really deliver on this promise if you find the right vendor, okay? And here, this might seem counterintuitive coming from a cloud backup company, but DRaaS can open doors for new customers. It can bring you bigger margins. It can increase your differentiation. So again, referring to DR as a service, it's the ability to fail over your customers' entire business environment, not just their data. So DRaaS really lets you separate yourself as a partner, but it also offers much more. A complete data protection solution, and you can generate much higher margins. Plus, it's built on our backup infrastructure, which allows you to protect data, files, folders, and databases, but also protect full running systems. And recently, the Wall Street Journal reported that 90% of those who responded in their survey only spent 5% of their budget or less on their disaster recovery plans. So although many companies understand the need for a disaster recovery plan, this failover is just, again, outside their reach. And let's take a look at the opportunity with DRaaS in the market now. So the DRaaS market's estimated to grow from $1.42 billion in 2015 to $11.92 billion in 2020. This is a compound annual growth rate of 52.9%. So this is a huge market. And despite this surging market, most channel partners out there have yet to really focus on the DRaaS business. And that really means that you risk falling behind. So this is really a great time to explore the potential of a cloud-based disaster recovery service now. And Infrascale is a DRaaS company that uses the cloud to eradicate downtime. This is really our mission here. It's pretty simple. We are helping equip every partner with the ability to quickly and affordably recover their customers from any disaster, large or small. Now, obviously, we can't eradicate the causes of downtime, but it's our mission to really lessen the pain that you experience, get your customers back on their feet, and again, when any disaster strikes, now it could just be an outage from hardware loss or from human error, but it could also be one of those macro-scale natural disasters, the floods, the hurricanes. So let's take a look at the top 5 ways to eradicate downtime now. This is sort of the key purchase requirements that you should be considering as you compare different DRaaS vendors. So here they are. Let's take a look. Number 1, DR should be on demand. Number 2, cloud spillover. Number 3 is complete coverage. Number 4 is push button failover. And number 5 is encryption of your customer's data. So the right vendor would support DR to be on demand, like in this scenario. So in this situation, here are some end users that are working just as a normal day. Unknown to them is that they're about to experience an unexpected disaster. So there you go. Those red X's symbolize the outage. servers and applications go down, right in the midst of that outage, and you're the one that has to deal with this for your customers. It could literally happen at any time. This could be 2 a.m., it could be the middle of the night. So with on-demand failover, you simply log into the dashboard from any browser, could even be on a laptop, a tablet, even a smartphone. Just log in from any browser. You can recover with just the push of a button and virtualize any of the servers that are down, boot and run on either the appliance or in the cloud, and everyone keeps working. And that whole process can happen in just a minute. But not all DRES solutions work that way, that you can boot on the appliance or in the cloud from anywhere in just a minute's time. But whichever data protection option you go with should definitely offer you this flexibility. This is really the new way to do failover. And this is how this is the InfraScale way. This is how InfraScale does it. Okay, let's take a look at number 2, get cloud spillover. So here's a quick scenario that probably sounds familiar to you. You buy an appliance, as your customer's data grows, you fill that up, and so once that appliance is full, you buy another one, and your data continues to grow, so you fill that up, buy another one, fill that up, buy another one, and really just continue this circle, continue this cycle, a hardware hamster wheel. That's really the old way of doing it, where if you need more space, that means more appliance. But let me just quickly tell you about the InfraScale way, which you see on the right here. So what if you could get the last hardware appliance that you'd ever need, just a slim rack mount unit, say a 1U unit, but you could send it 1 terabyte or you could send it 100 terabytes. So we do this by utilizing cloud spillover technology and intelligently spilling data over from the device into the cloud. It's all based on policies that you set based off of the age and the value of your data, but you are in complete control over it. So what's great about this is just Gartner actually mentioned us for this. They named us a 2015 Cool Vendor in business continuity and disaster recovery. And when they wrote that Cool Vendor report, they included their InfraScale says, when you need more space, get a bigger cloud, not a bigger appliance. So you really want to have a solution with cloud spillover for all of your customers' growing data. All right, that brings us to number 3. Get complete coverage. And this is because it's increasingly vital to protect all of your customers' data, all their applications, all their devices, and everything. So you want a solution that can back up any device, that can support any OS, and this is going to be devices including servers, both physical and virtual, desktops, laptops, mobile devices. And when I say any OS, I really mean not just Windows, but Linux, Unix, VMware, Hyper-V. You want to be able to deploy in any form, and this is really the type of form factor. So physical appliances, virtual appliances, or agent-level backups. You want to be able to store in any cloud. So you really should have the flexibility of storing your data in any cloud. The vendor's cloud, your own private cloud, or popular third-party clouds, Amazon Web Services, Windows Azure. You also want to be able to recover anything. So we do allow you to recover anything from an entire database server down to the mailbox level. And then boot anywhere. So I mentioned this a moment ago briefly. You do want the ability to boot on the appliance and in the cloud. And then finally, fail back any systems. So InfraScale lets you protect all of your customers' data, from mobile devices to desktops and laptops, physical, virtual servers. We support over 100 versions of operating systems. So that brings us to number 4. And this is push button failover. We talked earlier about those micro and macro disasters and really the importance of protecting your business against both types of outages, protecting your customers. So in order to quickly recover from micro disasters, you want appliance-based failover, again with the push of a button. And then to recover from a flood, for example, or a natural disaster, you want to have cloud-based virtualization, right? And so the push of a button is going to allow you to spin up VMs in the cloud, let your customers access those applications, and stay productive. All right, number 5 then, the final way to eradicate downtime that we're looking at here is to encrypt your data. So rather than take raw files and send them to the cloud, as other solutions may do, InfraSkill uses military-grade double-blind encryption. So this is how we protect data, and this is really best practice. So encryption locally, in transit, and at rest. And really, this is the only way to ensure that data is secure. It's this military-grade security. It also allows us to enable compliance with regulations such as HIPAA, PCI, Safe Harbor, Sarbanes-Oxley, and many others. So the whole idea behind that double-blind encryption is specifically for your customers' data. So you shouldn't just put your data in raw and then encrypt it in the cloud. The idea here is similar to a bank deposit box. So you need 2 keys to access the data. And really the way to do that is by having 2 separate keys, dramatically lowering the chances of an attack being successful. So the approach there is to encrypt your data locally with a key that only you have and the vendor doesn't. And then when the data gets to the data center, it's encrypted again with a key that the vendor has and you don't know. All right, well, I feel like I've talked quite a bit, so I want to hear again from you. So I'm going to launch another quick poll. All right, so just launched that quick poll. I'll give everyone a moment to answer that here. All right, it looks like 50% of you have voted so far. Up to 60% already, which is wonderful. And the high majority so far have answered, I wish I could offer failover DR, but can't afford it. So that's actually something that we will discuss in just a moment. So we are going to come to that section of the presentation soon. Okay, let's see if we can get to 80% here. Great. All right. Thank you so much for your participation. Again, majority have said B. I wish I could offer failover DR, but simply can't afford it. So I will be sure to touch on that to make sure that I get that covered for you. So let me close that poll down there. And what we're going to talk about now is just sort of a few of the key benefits with InfraSkill. And this is really what makes InfraSkill break through, why you should care, and just, again, some of the benefits that you have with InfraSkill versus some of the other vendors out there. So one is breakthrough pricing. And so I do have another slide we're going to talk about this here, but just as an overview, our DRES solutions are as much as 70% less compared to some of the traditional failover options out there, the SunGuards, HPs, or Dells of the world. 2 is cloud spillover. And so this is what we talked about a minute ago. Unlike other appliance-based solutions, we allow you to store an unlimited amount of data in the cloud, regardless of the size of your physical appliance. 3 is push button failover. So to recover entire systems in seconds with just a few clicks. And that really allows the time to fix the core problem while all of your customers stay productive and stay up and running. And then 4 is complete coverage. So unlike other solutions, we protect mixed environments, including over 100 versions of the most popular operating systems. And not to mention, we're secure. We just talked about our end-to-end encryption. Very simple. The product's easy to deploy and to use, and very flexible. Since we do support any OS, we protect every device, and we let you deploy how and where you want to deploy. And so here is the pricing that I just mentioned to look a little bit closer and compare for yourself. So we did this quick comparison with Barracuda, Unitrends, and Datto. And to let you know what we were comparing, it was the cost of a 10 terabyte appliance and 3 years of cloud in addition to that. So we did this cost comparison side by side, apples to apples, with the same appliance and cloud storage, and you save 70% with InfraScale. We're happy to talk more with you about this and share the data as well if you are concerned with the cost. So let's take a look at a little bit more on our pricing, because we do offer simple and transparent pricing. Wherever you do a comparison pricing, you do want to encourage that apples to apples comparison like I just mentioned. So things to keep in mind: do the vendors charge additionally for support? Do they charge for professional services? Can you use your own existing hardware if you'd like? Are you limited on number of test days? So these are just all some of the things to keep in mind, some of the things to look at. And so our pricing is based on the appliance cost plus a monthly subscription, which is recurring revenue for our cloud and failover services. No hidden fees, no additional costs. It's simply based on the amount of data that you have to protect. And then here is another comparison that we did on a few different features. So things that we've talked about thus far: affordability, cloud spillover, truly complete coverage, push button failover, encryption, security, and that recovery time. And I really think that this helps summarize the key criteria that you want to be looking at. And as you can see from this comparison, all of the major vendors out there don't really stack up the way that InfraScale does. Again, here we looked at Axient, Datto, Barracuda, Unitrends, and then you see InfraScale on the right. And then here is a look at the channel difference that InfraScale provides. And really, this is the time for you to build a profitable disaster recovery business, make money by protecting your clients' data, applications, servers with the push of a button, be able to fail over. And this is really our channel program's benefits, the distinct benefits. So 30% margins. I mentioned this in the very beginning. We offer rich margins on our cloud-connected appliances, as well as recurring revenue through cloud failover services. So we're protecting your leads with deal registrations. We offer a dedicated sales rep to help you close more business and close it faster. And then on the top right, we're partner-centric. All of our business is directed to and through you. So we're not cannibalizing your sales by selling direct. We're funneling real leads directly to our channel partners. And then technical support. So once you sign up with InfraScale, you have a dedicated SE support rep that helps you train your own technical crew. We also offer specialized training, how-to videos. We really show you how to configure your own deployments and get you up and running quickly that way. And then the bottom right, demand generation. So for select partners, we will provide marketing development funds, MDF, and will help fund and execute virtual and live executive events. We also have a partner resource center, and that's going to help you with rebrandable collateral, email templates, how-to videos. It really gets you started and gets you up and running quickly. And here's a quick snapshot of our online dashboard. So the InfraSkill dashboard is one unified management console, and you can log into it from any browser, which I mentioned briefly, any tablet, smartphone, a laptop. From here, you can view activity alerts, you can access reporting and monitoring, you can monitor all of your account usage, manage retention settings for compliance. You can control remote deployment and use our MSI to deploy anywhere in the world. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this and do a quick demo at the end, as we are running a little bit short on time. So I'm going to do that quick demo after the Q&A so I can make sure to answer everyone's questions today. So we'll come back to that demo. But you don't have to take my word for it. I did mention earlier that Gartner named us a 2015 Cool Vendor in Business Continuity and Disaster Recovery. Storage Switzerland and ZDNet have recognized us as well. And so I want to be sure to show you the next steps as well. And I want to thank everyone for your time and being here today. I really appreciate you joining this presentation and taking the time out of your day for it. So I do want to offer all of you who've joined today a free cloud failover appliance eval unit. So this is our CFA. Which, if you want to take advantage of this free eval unit, you can simply request it right now with the question tool in GoToWebinar. Type in your name and your email address, and I'll get you started with the free eval, or maybe a phone number, however you'd like me to reach out. So I'll be sure to get you started with that eval ASAP. So again, just using the question tool, you can type your name and either email or phone number. And also, I want to let everyone know about our December promotions. So we have two very unique promotions going on for December. They do expire, let's see, the first one on December 20th, the second on December 31st. So with this first promotion, if you're a fan of Star Wars, you'll be a big fan of this promo. We want to send a little of the Force your way in the form of AMC movie passes. And all you would need to do is become an InfraSkill partner, and then you have a promo of 1 additional terabyte for $79 per month, or 2 terabytes at $79 per month, with an additional free terabyte, a buy 2 get 1 free. Either way, either promo that you decide to go with, you get a movie bundle that you receive with 2 free tickets, drinks, and popcorn. So that's a pretty fun promotion that we're doing for December with the release of The Force Awakens. And the other promo that we're doing is very unique as well. It is actually a trip to Hawaii. So the grand prize is a stay at the Turtle Bay Resort in Oahu and airfare for 2. So all you have to do here is register a deal, and you can register a deal on our deal registration page. You get a $100 gift card for every approved demo that's performed. It's a $100 Amex gift card. And we'll send you that Amex gift card and a raffle ticket to enter to win that prize, which is a trip to Hawaii. All right, so with that, I do want to turn now quickly to the Q&A, make sure I can get all of those questions answered that you may have. Here's my email address. If anything didn't come up in the presentation so far that you really wanted to hear, then please email me, carla.federigo@infrascale.com. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get any feedback that you want to provide. So would very much love to hear from you. And while we go through the Q&A, I do have one more poll for you. So I do want to hear from you again. Let me go ahead and launch that poll first. And then I'll scroll through this Q&A that has been rolling here and get to all the questions. It looks like 60% of you who have voted so far. Again, I really appreciate all of the participation with that. Okay, just scrolling up to the top of the questions. Lots of questions have come through today, which is great. Okay, just scrolling all the way to the top. Let's see. Okay, and lots of questions, so thank you for your participation. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can get through all these. So first question says, can you give a quick overview of the company history and its customers? Definitely. So InfraScale was founded in 2006. We're headquartered in Los Angeles, California. So that's where I'm located now. We're venture-backed. We have about 150 employees worldwide. And we have over 1,000 MSP partners across the globe. So really, with that, we're protecting millions of endpoints and devices and about 20 billion data objects across our global grid. Next question says, what changes regarding cost if a cloud backup server needs to be spun up? And are there costs associated with spinning up in the cloud? So no, there aren't any additional costs. This is included in the pricing. So it's by the amount of data protected, not the number of recoveries or anything along those lines. You didn't share specific cost. What is the pricing model? So that's a great question, but it does depend on what your needs are. Pricing can start at just a few $100s if you're just using cloud storage. And then we have a variety of appliance sizes available. And that can range from just 1 terabyte up to hundreds of terabytes. We have a 1U unit up to a 9U unit. So it really depends on how much data you have. Next question says, the appliance can support 100 different operating systems. What does it not support? Okay, great question. So yes, we support Windows, Mac, some of the others that I mentioned during the presentation. Just to be more specific, all versions of Windows, all versions of Linux, Unix, OpenServer, Novell NetWare, Solaris, HPUX, AIX. We also have bare metal bootable for Windows, and then also Linux is coming soon for that. Next question, do you support Red Hat and CentOS? Yes, both common Linux distributions, we do support those. Do you support Windows Server 2003? Yes, we do. Is the backup real time, or can we determine the frequency of when each server is backed up? So yeah, the protection policies are completely configurable. You can protect every 15 minutes, every 24 hours, really whatever you'd like. Okay, for VMs, can you get only the most recent, or can you go back to checkpoints? So yes, so you can go back to any point in time you have backed up. You will be the one that sets the backup and retention policies. So just keep that in mind. You have complete control over that. Okay, next question. Would we need to allow for 2 times in storage considerations? So that depends. We'll likely start there or recommend that, but because of our powerful deduplication, it's really best to speak to us first about your specific environment to determine what you'll need. We have an up to 90% deduplication rate. Now, it depends on what types of data, what types of files, but we do have a very powerful dedupe technology built in. All right, next question. Are there minimum bandwidth requirements? So at least a 1 megabit connection is needed. Because you're buffering on the appliance, the amount of dedicated bandwidth that you need to the cloud is really far less than you'd assume. And then also on VMs, I mentioned that up to 90% deduplication rate. So we do have a very powerful deduplication technology built in as well. All right. How does the appliance throttle bandwidth usage during production times? So there's a very powerful bandwidth shaping tool. You can decide how much bandwidth it should use at different times. Great question. What is your support like? Do you offer 24/7 support? Yes, we do. We offer 24/7 support 365 days a year. It's US-based support. Half of that support team is in LA, and the other half of that support team is in Salt Lake City. We offer email, live chat, ticketing, and a knowledge base for support. So plenty of ways to reach out to us. We also have a phone line with a 1-hour SLA, and so you'll receive a response day or night. All right. Okay, next question says, can you replicate to multiple cloud services? So yes, you can. We support Amazon, Azure. We have Infrascale's own cloud services as well. So any of those available to you. All right. Great question here. Where are your data centers? How many do you have? And then I also see another mention of someone who's joining us from New Zealand. So this probably applies to you as well. So we have 16 global points of presence. That includes 12 data centers. We have data centers throughout the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, South Africa, South America. All our data centers are Tier 3 and Tier 4. So they require biometric credentials, they have redundant cooling systems, et cetera, et cetera. All right, next question, are you SOX and HIPAA compliant? So yes, we enable compliance with HIPAA, Sarbanes-Oxley, PCI, Safe Harbor, CES 70, SSAE 16, many other regulations as well. The data is encrypted at 256-bit AES locally, sent over an SSL. Then it's encrypted again at 256-bit AES. And we also sign business associate agreements. So we definitely do take security very seriously. Then another question asks, can U.S. clients request their data resides on U.S. data centers? Yes, of course. You determine where your customer's data resides. And next question is, does your support have locations out of the U.S.? Well, because we offer support 24/7 by 365, you always have support available to you. Next question, do you have an overview of your product appliances from small to large, a PDF? Yes, we definitely have lots of information that we can further share with you. So I'll be sure to put someone in touch with you to provide that to you. That question came from Frank. So Frank, I'll be sure to put someone in touch with you. Okay, next question says, if you are, should we have a backup of our backup, or do you replicate our data? How redundant are your data centers? Okay, we replicate to another machine within the same data center, so that's in case that cluster goes down. We also then replicate to another data center in a different state or geographic region in the event of a problem, of course, at that data center. Most of our customers also keep a replicated copy, so redundancy is not an issue. Okay, next question. Is there a setting to allow high priority backups versus lesser valued data if space is limited? So yes, you set the policy based on the age and the value of your data. Okay, next question. Do you offer bare metal recovery? Yes, we do. How does the MSI work for mass deployment? When you build your MSI, you define what to back up and when. You set a date for it to expire. So you're setting the amount of time that you're allowing for your deployment. It runs silently, so completely transparent to the end user. Okay, how do you handle DNS to point to the working servers? So there's a few ways to handle DNS. Managed DNS is usually what we suggest for distributed work environments. We also support point-to-point firewalls and MPLS connections, so there are a few different ways that we can handle the network failover. Okay. All right, next question. Is this compatible with my WAN accelerators, i.e. steelheads? So when you're looking at WAN acceleration, we do use that. We have that technology built right in. We have WAN acceleration and data compression built into the solution. So some solutions require that you buy a WAN acceleration system, but we already have that in place. And then we have the patented dedupe technology, which I mentioned just a few minutes ago. So that allows us to really dramatically reduce the data payload that gets pushed over the wire. Okay, next question. Next question says, is InfraScale an agent-based backup, or does it communicate with the hypervisor? Do I have to install agents on devices and servers? Okay, so for agent-based or agentless, we support both. What we recommend is within the data center you use the agentless approach and connect directly to the hypervisor. But for things like maybe a Unix server or Linux running on Metal, we have agents there. Can you spin up backup domain controls that can handle DHCP DNS services? Yes, we can. Datto doesn't let me back up laptops, particularly roaming laptops. Can you do that? Yes, definitely we can. We have endpoint protection for individual mobile clients. So you can install an agent and they'll back up just fine. We also have geolocate and remote wipe of endpoints. Also, don't forget about the accessibility and recovery to data from a mobile device. With Androids, we offer an incredibly powerful backup application. It runs on a schedule. It backups everything on the device. It offers robust data compression. iPhone users, on iPhone you can access backup for videos, photos, and contacts. So very truly powerful backup and recovery. Again, geolocate and remote wipe, geofencing, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, next question. Do your solutions integrate with RMMs and PSAs like ConnectWise or Kaseya? Yes, we do. How does Infrascale allow files to be recovered from VM images that are backed up? I don't want to restore an entire VM just to get a single file. So you can browse those VMs in the cloud and you can selectively recover. So that's very powerful. Okay, a similar question. Do you support VMDK browsing and granular file recovery? Can I browse at the mail level with an Exchange backup? So yes, Exchange granular recovery allows for search and recovery at the individual mail level. It's all part of the service. If you want mailbox level recovery, you could say open a particular user's mailbox, drill through, find an email with maybe an attachment that was deleted, and then restore it. So all part of the service. Okay, here's a great question. How does Infrascale handle backup sets with very large numbers of files? Is there a point at which you recommend splitting a backup set into more than one? So we can handle millions of files in a backup set. Because we have support for NAS filers, Windows file servers, you're going to really be into the millions of files before you need to worry about any of that. Next question, how do I get data back on site from the cloud? So a really important part to note is that we move compute to where the data sits. If you have, say, 500 terabytes of data sitting on the appliance or 500 terabytes sitting in the cloud, we're going to move the VMs and run the VMs where the data is. And really by doing that, we don't require you to move the data back to compute. We're moving compute to where the data is. So that's how you can boot up in minutes, no matter how much data you have. Next question asks about backup sets. Can they be full and or incremental? Yes, you set those policies. You can determine exactly what you want to back up and when. You can do fulls and then incrementals, not a problem. Okay, next question is do you offer monthly payments? Yes, we offer flexible payment options. We have monthly payment plans available. So it does make it very easy for you to get started today because we have those monthly payment options available. Okay, next question says, what are your retention policies? So you set your you can log in and change the policies. If the question is, can I change them? But you'll set all those policies so you have complete control over it. Next question, do you offer white labeling for MSPs? Yes, we are a completely rebrandable solution. Do you sell direct and compete with partners? So no, we don't compete with our partners. We're channel focused. We do work direct up until the point of sale. And that's when we'll pair the business up with one of our channel partners. So you know, the DNA of the company now and how it has always been is channel focused. Okay. Do you do anything to help me market or lead gen in my area? Yes, we do. We offer co-marketing events. We offer co-brandable solutions. We have virtual and local events. We do work very closely with you to earn more business and close more deals faster. We offer sales training for us to train your sales team. So we do have lots of resources available to our partners. Okay. Okay, we have time for just one more question here. The last question says, I have a 100 terabyte opportunity. Can you help me win it? So yes, we definitely can. Our sales engineers will join your call, will speak to your opportunity, help answer questions, help you win that deal. They're very good at what they do. So we'll definitely be able to give you some support for that. Okay, great. So we're just about out of time at the moment. There are some more questions that are even coming through now and that came through that I wasn't able to get to. So please keep an eye out for in your email or a phone call. I will be sure to have someone follow up with you if we didn't get to every question that was asked today. And then with that, also, keep an eye out on your email because, like I mentioned, we are doing a giveaway. So on Friday at the end of this week, we are going to be taking into account here everyone who asked questions, whoever asked the most relevant and on-topic questions during the week here. We have 2 webinars going this week. Then we'll email you if you are the winner there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close the poll down now. Looks like we have everyone who voted so far, so thank you so much for participating in that. And I want to thank everyone for being here today. Thank you so much for your time. We very much look forward to working with you and look forward to future partnership. Thank you so much. Have a great day.